got a pretty good kicker.
Craig Brown, 52 yards with the wind a week ago. There is no wind tonight. 3rd and 10 out of the eye. Flanagan, play action, looking for the sideline, and this receiver got bumped out of bounds, and he will find somebody else. And it won't be enough for the first down. Oh, my. If we have an up-top version, his receiver got clearly bumped out of bounds. If he had thrown the ball when his receiver got bumped out, we might have got a pass interference on it.
Had he also been able to pick up a block along the way, he might have been able to run that ball for the first down. But there was no thought at all on the Riders' sideline of going for it on 4th down. They want to pick up the points. Points are valuable. If you can come away with 3 instead of risking it on 4th and 2, the smart thing to do is to kick the field goal.
Lewis with the catch on that last one, a little shy. So we're calling a 32-yard field goal for Brown. As we mentioned, he kicked a 52-yard a week ago. He's got the leg. Let's see if it curves over, and it doesn't. It is off to the right.
It had the distance, but not the accuracy. Skip, the Raiders used up a little more than 6 minutes of clock time, though they're controlling the ball. They're keeping the ball out of Lewisville's hands, and that's good. That's good. There are only 7 minutes to go before halftime, and it's still a 7-7 ball game. It's a little disappointing that the Raiders don't come away with points on that particular drive, but my goodness, they'll have plenty more opportunities before this game is over with. One thing they are showing is that they are able to move the ball against Lewisville. In the air, but mostly on the ground.
They will remember that drive, though. Anytime there's a good defensive play by the defense, but anytime you get the ball on a turnover, you want to try to turn that turnover into some points. And if they can hold Lewisville from getting anything on this drive, then they'll call it even, I guess.
And the lonely life of a kicker, we see Craig Brown kneeling at the 41-yard line, 42-yard line on the other side of the 50. He's in his own world right now, thinking about the missed field goal, but he knows he'll get another chance before too long.
2nd down, about 8. Another defensive tackle, Chad Jackson. And the Raider defense is getting fired up.
I'll tell you what, Chad played off a block and was able to come up with a big tackle. It's 3rd down and 11. Big play coming up here for the Rider defense. And you wouldn't think so early on in this game, but I'll tell you, as I said again, and I'm going to probably harp on this a few more times, if you keep the ball out of Lewisville's hands, they can't put points on the board.
Kobe Wilson effective in the play action. Up now his offensive line moved, and I do believe the very first man to move was Charlie Flynn, the offensive guard.
It was Charlie Flynn, number 61, came up, and that ball foul will make it 3rd down and 16.
And will that change the call a bit as they send in a new play from the sideline? Who knows? Chuck Mills may say, hey, let's just call the same play. They still need a lot of yards. Need about 16 after the penalty. And wideouts at the top and bottom. Up the middle, across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Not enough for the first down for Brown. Brown is brought down by Blackman, and it's punt time for Lewisville.
I'm a little bit surprised, Skip, that Lewisville didn't try to throw on 3rd and long. They're a talented offensive team. They know they can score. We know certainly that they can score, but they were playing a little bit conservative on 3rd down and long, and they didn't control the ball very long either. Only about 1 minute and 45 seconds coming up with this punt.
And the Raiders almost get them. They will take a Lewisville bounce across the 50-yard line and continue to roll inside the 45, and finally dead at about the 41-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over. So on the interception, you call it kneel and you start again.
Well, but one thing that you did was that you took time off the clock and you preserve at least a tie for right now. You get the ball back. We're inside of 5 minutes to go. And if they come up with another 5-minute drive, they could come away with points. And Lewisville will have only touched the ball twice. You know, consider this. With 4:47 to go, second quarter, the Fighting Farmers have only had the ball 2 times.
Raiders from their own 41. Parsons in motion. Pitch, Lewis. has room up to the 49-yard line, and just one tackle away from breaking that one.
You know, one question that I often get asked when I'm sitting up here and I'm doing statistics for you guys, and a question that I've gotten asked before is, why do you keep time of possession? Of course, you know, that was something we never heard of until the pros started using it on stats. That's critical. That's a very key stat in some football games.
Richard Landers in on the last tackle, 2nd and about 8. Lewis back to the line of scrimmage. Good defensive pressure. Derek Osteen, the defensive end, stayed at home that time and waited for Lewis.
Osteen was able to play off of a block from the coach's son, Jay LeBlue, wearing number 52 this evening, the 5'6", 169-pound junior. It's now 3rd down and 2. We're inside of 4 minutes to play, and look for Montrell Lewis left side on this.
At the 3:50 mark to go before the half, we're tied at 7. Lewis,
or up the middle.
Spin move, 1st down. They were trying to jerk the ball out of there as well, unable to do that, and he will pick up the 1st down. Batenfield finally brings him down.
You know, one thing I'm looking forward to seeing as we head to halftime are the Milam stats. Because Ryder is clearly the dominant team so far.
And he does keep time of possession?
No, he doesn't keep that. I don't think he does. He always asks me that question.
Okay.
But they never use that in the local paper. You notice that?
Pitch, Hickman. Oh, might have got a late hit on that one. No call. Hickman with the carry, though, inside the 45 to the 43.
That's one of those situations where there may have been a good no call, but we'll see if on the replay perhaps that hit was a little later than we thought. The officials are letting the guys play tonight.
Alrighty, 2nd down, 2nd at about 6. Nowhere. Hickman stuffed, and that's what you call being stuffed that time.
Like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Here's the last play, I do believe. Now let's see if we can get a late hit.
And let's see.
He's down.
Oh yeah, that was late. We must have those officials that work the. No, I'm not going to get into that. I'll get into that some other time.
I know what you're going to say. The officials.
Colorado,
They're from the Colorado.
But there are only 5 of them here tonight.
2:23 to go before the half.
Look for Thad Carnine on 3rd and long here.
Working out of the eye. On the option. He's got room to run. He's got room to throw. Decides to run and only gets a couple. And it will be punt time as Craig Brown trots on to punt of the way.
And Skip, as we were watching the play try to develop, it was that Carnine who we was looking for and kept waving for him. Try to get open. Keep moving with me. Move with me. Move with me. But that could not get away from 36 Tim Scheibelhalt, number 36, a linebacker. And so as a result, 4th and 3 with 2:09 to go in kicking time for Craig Brown.
Todd Neander runs him out of bounds. He's been all over the field. Brown will punt it away for the 2nd time tonight. Allen is back deep.
About the 1-yard line bounce.
Gets it off, angling for the sideline, and he gets it, but let's see where the official finally spots it when he's walking up to the 15 and stops at the 16-yard line.
27-yard kick for Craig Brown, and so with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go until the half, Lewisville will have the ball for only the 3rd time this evening. Let's see how well the Ryder defense can respond and keep Lewis from getting any yardage. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Fighting Farmers. We are tied at 7-7, along with Skip Boyden and the rest of the WFTV crew. Rich Siegel, delighted to be with you this evening on a perfect football night. Oh, what a great weather night we have.
Dean Lee just runs a touchdown for the Coyotes, and they are up 21-7. A little bit before the half. A couple of yards on the last play. Sean Perez makes the tackle on Brown. And with 1:44, let's see if Kobe Wilson puts the ball up in the air.
I don't know, I think he may be a little gun-shy from having been picked off a series before last because he did not throw at all in the last series.
On the ground again. And the Raiders defense. And as far as that is concerned, they have to keep an eye on Andre Brown and Hancock, as they are both, as far as running, they are both deadly. So I'm sure during the whole week that they were working on just keying up on those guys. Chad Jackson in on the last tackle, but they've been working on that all week, I'm sure.
Now it's 3rd and 7, and we're coming to the 1-minute mark to go before halftime. I'm a little bit surprised that a timeout hasn't been taken by Ryder to try to preserve some clock, because they know they've been able to stop him so far and try to get the ball back. But we're inside of a minute to play. Let's see if he puts the ball in the air on 3rd down.
Keeps it on the ground. Good defensive tackle. Little shy of the 1st down. On the carry that time was Lamont Turner. And now a timeout has been called, and the Raiders take it. They took Kevin Owens makes the tackle.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there. They take the timeout, but I think they might have taken it one play too late. Maybe not. We'll see from ground level. Watch number 80, Kevin Owens. He'll stay at home. He will not allow number 5, and that's Lamont Turner, to gain any more yardage. He picked up 2 yards to the 21-yard line. It'll bring up 4th and 5. And I'll tell you, Skip, I kind of think that I'd send everybody in and try to stuff this kicker.
Avery will be back deep. Or will be deep.
We'll recall last week in a similar situation that Ryder got the ball towards the end of the 1st half and took advantage of a rather silly Richland penalty to come up with Craig Brown's 52-yard field goal, which could have been 70 yards with that gale that was blowing out of the south on Saturday afternoon.
And it uplifted him right before the half. Might have been one of the turning points of the ball game. They don't rush everybody. They set up the return. Fair catch is called for, and he muffs it. Lewisville gets the ball back with 29-6 left at the 45-yard line. He called for the fair catch, and in trying to run up and get it, unable to hold on to it, more than likely took his eye off the ball.
I'll tell you what, he seemed very unsure of himself in that particular kick, because he saw 3 or 4 white jerseys headed towards him. And this ball kept moving up, and frankly, I think he should have just let it bounce.
Derek Olstein recovers it, and Lewisville has the football back. Brown with a big hole. Up to the 45-yard line, and they will stop the clock just due to the fact he is close to the 1st down, so Lewisville will not have to use a timeout. Timeout situations, the Farmers have 3, and the Raiders with 2. And now they finally call the timeout. So both with 2 now.
They are a yard shy of a 1st down, and as soon as the play stopped, the quarterback, Colby Wilson, turned around and vehemently signaled to the referee tonight that he wanted that clock stopped. They're going to try to take advantage of the Ryder turnover now. 22 seconds left, and they've got plenty of time.
So we talked about some of the other key games going on tonight. We mentioned Wichita Falls Coyotes up 21-7 over Justin Northwest. Hazel playing at Burke Burnett. Haltom at Marcus. Keller at Richland. And Sherman at Denton tonight. Hopefully we'll have some scores for you. And a key game as far as the Ryder Raiders are concerned here tonight. Trying to upset a top-ranked team. They rank 7th in the area. Play action, trying to set up the screen. They dump it off, looks good. Hancock down the sideline and gets out of bounds. And they're trying to get in field goal range as Brian Lewis runs Hancock out.
Very intelligent play. Very well run, well executed, picking up valuable yardage on 2nd down and short. You'd figure he'd go for the run, even with only 22 seconds to go, but he set up a perfect screen pass and yardage down to the Ryder 34-yard line. So the Ryder defense is now going to be called upon to stick it to the Lewisville offense. Let's see if they can respond to the challenge here.
13 ticks left. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Raiders don't want to stop it. We're here in the 1st half. Straight back. Sideline. Picked off. He makes the catch. Unable to go down the sideline with it, though, but the Raiders will get the ball at the 19-yard line. On the interception is Brian Lewis.
Brian Lewis was able to be an AT&T type person. This was a very well telegraphed pass. Brian reading it all the way and was able to come up with the interception. And so on the 2nd Lewisville turnover, the Raiders will be able to run the clock out, and they'll go into the locker room. And I think having to be happy with a 7-7 tie. Very happy with that.
Both teams with 1 turnover, and neither team able to cash in on it.
And I'll tell you what, one player breathing a huge sigh of relief right now is Scott Avery.
Here's a pitch to Lewis to the near side. Needs a block. Up to the 35-yard line, brought down from behind. That'll do it for the first half. And both fans from both sides of the field on their feet. What a first half it's been, Rich.
This has been a very well-played first half by both sides. I think that Wayne LeBleu has to be quite happy to go into the locker room tied at 7, because one thing that he has seen his team do so far tonight is use the ball, or rather use the clock, ball control. They haven't allowed Lewisville too many opportunities on offense, and when Lewisville has been on offense, a couple of turnovers. They stopped them on downs once. Of course, there was the first series where there was coverage breakdown in the secondary, and Lewisville scored the touchdown, but that's going to happen. This field goal, let's see how much that comes into play when the game is over. All right? I think a 7-7 tie at halftime is pretty good.
All right. We are at the half. In just a couple of minutes, we'll have a special guest. I believe Jeffrey Milam will be joining us, along with Donnie Lang, who will give us insights of the games to come. We'll do all of that, along with halftime statistics and a whole lot more. Coming up at the half, we are tied at 7 between the Rider Raiders and Lewisville Fighting Farmers. You're watching the Game of the Week on WFTV.
Along with Skip Boyd and Rich Siegel back with you at Memorial Stadium. We're at halftime. It is Riders 7, Lewisville 7, and joining us at halftime is the football editor and the assistant sports editor of the Wichita Falls Times-Record News, our good friend Jeff Milam. First, Jeff, let's talk about this game. You a little surprised at the score? The Riders playing as well as they're playing, or did you expect the Raiders to come up with a strong effort tonight?
Well, no, I'm not really surprised by the score, and yes, I did expect Ryder to come up with a good effort. This is a real critical game for Ryder, and I expected them to be up for the game, and after one half, I'd say that they are, and the things that needed to happen are happening now for Ryder to be close in this game, and that is Lewisville turning over the ball, and Ryder, controlling the ball, which they've done, and really Ryder could be ahead of this game.
Ryder, of the 24 minutes that we played, I'd say has controlled the ball for anywhere from 15 to 18 minutes, would you say?
Well, true, because Lewisville is not the type team that's going to take the ball and score quickly on you unless they break those long ones. They like to power the ball down the field and everything, and if they don't have it, Rich, they can't do it. According
to your stats, it looks like Ryder has run 34 plays, and Lewisville has only run 16 plays. That's better than 2 to 1.
Well, that's great, and, if you're Wayne LeBleu, you wish that there was more points on that board and it's not tied, but I believe Ryder is happy with the way it goes. They just have to come out and duplicate that in the second half.
Okay, let's talk about now the first half of the Riders season. Your impressions.
Well, I think it was a good first half. Going 4-1, you have to be happy with that, and it's big confidence builder. Of course, the one loss is a district loss at Haltom, and things just went completely bad on them there. And Haltom played well, and when those two mixtures come up, you can have a bad game. So hopefully that's out of Ryder's system. And this doesn't look like the same Ryder team tonight that I saw at Haltom.
Can Haltom be beaten?
Oh, yes. The thing about Haltom is that they finish with the toughies. They finish up with the Dentons, the Sherman, and the Lewisville. And I think they played a little bit their soft schedule at first.
Okay, aside from Montreal Lewis, who we have seen perform magnificently for Ryder, who, in your opinion, have been some of the other top key players for Wayne LeBleu?
Well, I think Thad Carnine's been good at tight end. And, they're not a big passing team. And when Brian Staller went down with the injury, more stuff started coming Thad's way, but both of those, Staller was going to be a good wide receiver and everything, and that hurt losing him. But Thad has shown, he's got good hands, and if they can get him open, and the quarterback's looking awful good tonight, and he's had a decent preseason, or coming into this game and everything, and they've had good defense. You got to like Scott Saltzman up there at tackle and everything, and they're usually pretty good in the secondary too. They support well. They move them around back there a lot, and you never know where they're going to be.
Kicking game has been pretty decent too. Craig Brown's kicked well.
Right. Sure wish he had hit that one earlier tonight. You know, he don't normally miss from that distance at all.
We'll see how things develop. What do you look for in the second half of the season?
Well, I think a lot depends on tonight because Ryder has to go to Sherman next week, and Sherman's one of the big teams too, and a win going in that, and you got to remember Lewisville beat Sherman 34-10 last week, so if that should be a big feather in Ryder's cap. I mean, they need some momentum going to Sherman, and if they should lose this, you know, play well and lose it by a little bit, it's not going to hurt them. Of course, it would be their second district loss, and they couldn't afford one after that, I don't think.
All right. Jeff Milam has been our guest. We have the Hershey game coming up for you later this week, and Jeff will give the report card on Hershey. And if we have some time during the Hershey halftime, we'll also talk a little bit about Old High, who at this point are surprisingly in front of Justin Northwest. Would you say that's a surprising score, 21-7?
Well, Rich, right when I came down here, Northwest was on the 3-yard line and fixing to tie it up. So the deal with the Coyotes is that they can move the ball. They've got a good offensive team, but they're slow. They're slow on defense, and they're playing a team down there that runs the option. And if you let them get by, they're off to the races. And if the Coyotes can shore up that defense, they're going to be tough.
Well, there's still the second half down there, too. We'll see how that goes. Jeff, thank you very much.
You bet, Rich.
Halftime here at Memorial Stadium, tied at 7. It's Lewisville 7, Ryder 7. We have some stats that we want to share with you, and we will do that later on. Later on also, during this halftime, you will see the Pride of the Raiders, the Ryder Raider marching band. We'll be back with more halftime activities for you right after this. You're watching tonight's high school football game of the week here on WFTV Vista Cablevision Channel 10, where, as always, you have the best seat in the house.
3 weeks. I would look for MSU to come out on top tomorrow against El Dorado.
Okay, they need it.
They really do need it. It's a district ball game for them, conference game for them, and of course they need all those wins they can get.
You know, they're second in conference right now with a 1-0 undefeated record, and there is talk of a 5-5 season already.
You know, it's very conceivable they can come away with a win tomorrow. They 2-0 in conference play, and who knows what can happen.
Anything could happen. And then preview the Hershey game right quick.
I tell you, we've always talked about Hershey getting off to such a slow start, but I don't think this year has been quite as slow start as they've had in the past. I know last year, being in 1989, seemed like they had a tough time getting the offense going. But when district play rolled around, Skip and Rich, y'all remember, they had, 5 or 6 consecutive shutouts and won all their district ball games. Well, tomorrow night at 7:30, district play starts for Hershey, and I look for the Huskies to win. It's a district ball game, and I look for them to get off on the right foot.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Donnie Lang with the preview for our up-and-coming games right here on WFTV. Now let's go down on the field and enjoy the exciting Ryder Raider marching band.
We look really for the same effort in the second half. I don't know that Lewisville can nap until halftime and then turn it on in the second half. I think tonight they may have made their match in that regard.
Let's take a look at the very first touchdown of the ball game coming from a play action. And we're getting set to see Kobe Wilson and what he does best.
He'll drop straight back to throw, and we don't see where coverage breaks down, but the tight end, number 85, Jason Cleveland, 190-pound senior, got open. There was no one within 10 yards of the tight end, and as a result, 6 points, and the point after made it 7-0 on the first possession, which was set up on a very nice punt return of 30 yards by number 28, Dwayne Allen.
All right, let's take a look at the first half stats, and you will see that time of possession, which you talked about, you can tell by the stats. First downs, 11-3.
11-3 in first downs, but a key stat there, if you can add quickly, Ryder has run the ball 30 times, passed it for 34 plays. Lewisville has only run the ball 12 times and passed for, and so the Fighting Farmers have only gotten off 16 plays, so that's a little more than 2-1. Rushing yardage, Ryder 124, Lewisville 34. Passing yardage, Ryder 44, Lewisville 33. Total yards, Ryder 168. Lewisville 67. And that's a clear indication that Ryder did win the first half. Both teams have punted twice. Ryder's Craig Brown averaging 28.5 yards, Lewisville 31. Lewisville has been penalized twice, 2 procedure penalties for 10 yards, and check that stat for Ryder, penalties 0.
That's how you win a ball game.
Lewisville has been intercepted twice. Colby Wilson has been picked off twice, once by Scott Avery and once by Brian Lewis. And the Ryder turnover on the muffed punt by Scott Avery, we don't have a time of possession because I didn't keep that, but I think that it was clearly in Ryder's favor. And I'd say that of the 24 minutes that we played in the first half, Ryder probably had the ball anywhere from 15 to 17 minutes, and I'd be surprised if it was less than that.
Of course, Lewis doing all the ball carrying, but this is the play that they get into the end zone with Rashad Hickman.
And we said at the top of the show tonight that it appeared it would make sense for Lewisville's defense to key on Mundrell Lewis, and on that particular sequence of plays, Lewis had the ball about 5 or 6 times on his way to an 80-yard first half, and then on the touchdown run, they handed it off to Hickman, and then King on Lewis. Rashad was able to take it to the end zone. Last week's Player of the Week. We do want to thank, while we have the opportunity, the good people at Pinocchio's Pizza with 2 convenient locations. They're located at 3916 Kent. Phone number is 696-3333. Or out at Shepherd Access Road, 3703 Shepherd Access Road. Call 855-6353.
Jake Battenfield, the defensive back, 160-pound senior, opens up the second half. And I do also, as far as thanking Pinocchio's Pizza.
Now, I'll tell you, you don't want to say that a series at the start of the second half is a critical series, but I think for Ryder, a good defensive stand here will send a message to Lewisville that you may have waited too long to start doing something. Let's see how it develops.
We're set up the offense again for you, along with the defense, as the first pitch goes to Howard Hancock, 180-pound senior. Hasn't had much of the action. It's just been, of course, the Lewis Brown show. A pickup, though, of a couple. It'll be second down as we're set up the offensive line for Lewisville.
Jason Cleveland, the tight end. Shane Veek, Riquet, the one tackle. Arthur Godinez, another guard. Chris Smith, the center. Charlie Flynn, the right guard. And the right tackle is Jeff Myers.
Pitch play. Hancock to about the 41-yard line. It'll be shy of the first down as we get set to take a look at the offensive backfield as you get a shot of Howard Hancock back there.
Colby Wilson, the quarterback. The fullback is Andre Brown. The halfback, Howard Hancock's. One wide receiver is Brian Brown, and the other wide receiver is Lamont Turner.
Get a chance to take a look at the Raider defense, hopefully. Well, hopefully not, if they can hold him here on this third down call. 3rd and about 3. Wilson rolling out, has room to run, and good defensive pressure put on that time. Chad Jackson with the pressure. He put the pressure on, but it was Kevin Owens who came up with the tackle.
I was just about to say, Kevin Owens comes up with the tackle, but he was able to make the tackle because Chad Jackson was chasing Colby Wilson east to west and was not allowing him to make the turn upfield. And so on the first defensive series for Ryder, the Raiders are able to hold.
So we will not get a chance to look at their defense. We'll get set to take a look at their offense as Avery will line up deep, awaiting the punt. Kind of a bad snap. He was able to get a hold on it. And this will take a Lewisville bounce inside the 30. No return needed. Up to the 28-yard line on the bounce.
And a good move by Scott not to even try to field that ball because there were plenty of white shirts around him. Better just to let the ball drop and let it be down.
Here's what the Raiders open up with in the second half. And, of course, there are a couple of changes in there. So do, of course, bear with us.
Thad Carnine, the tight end. The tackles, Covington and Taylor. The guards, Nolan and Norris. The center is Grissom. And they've done well tonight, by the way.
First possession, second half. We're tied at 7. Fumble. Lewisville has it. Well, I may have called it earlier. They should have gotten it, but the Raiders get it back.
And that's pardon me, Skip. That's the second time that Ramon has pulled back from center and tried to do something with the ball before he actually had the ball. Flanagan is the quarterback. The fullback is Matthew Blackman. Actually, the fullback is Rashad Hickman. Mundrell Lewis is the tailback. Kevin Parsons is one wide receiver. The other wide receiver tonight is Chad Jackson.
Neander should have had the ball. He had the first chance at it. Must have gotten right by him. Pitch, Hickman trying to get outside, and does. To the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
Actually, Skip, let's make another change on here because Scott Avery is the second wide receiver this evening. It's Scott Avery and Chad Jackson, the wideouts, with Thad Carnine, the tight end.
Dwayne Allen on the defensive tackle that time on Rashad Hickman.
For the record, Ryan Stoller is out with a rib injury. Linebacker Tyrone Wesley has an ankle injury, and linebacker Curtis Simpson also with an ankle injury. And all 3 of those players come into tonight's game having been listed as questionable.
3rd and 5. Flanagan on the play action, looking across the middle, brought back from behind. Good defensive coverage in the secondary that time. Nobody was open.
Nobody open at all. Give the Fighting Farmers defensive backs credit for not allowing any receiver to get open. And